It's been a beautiful ride. Yeah.
Can you tell me a little bit about where you were when you started?
Started the program or started when I first contacted you?
Yeah, well, we've had a few conversations, right? Like last
Yes.
winter was when we really first talked.
Correct.
Yeah.
So I think it was January or February.
Mhm.
I know that when I first contacted you, I was a total basket case. We spoke on the phone. You gave me some advice and modalities that to kind of clear, like the tapping, right? Because what captivated me in the actual masterclass was the actual, where does this come from? The love languages and everything else. So that actually got me. It's like, okay, I don't want to repeat the pattern that has gone me right back from, in January, February when we spoke. I don't want to do that any longer. It's time, and I knew it. And that's when I knew that was it. So May 4th was the beginning of my life-changing patterns. Attracting individuals that would actually really put me in a position of not knowing who I was, getting lost in with the relationship, not causing any friction, not causing any rocking the boat idea. Right. Always agreeing with everything else, not speaking up, and eventually that plays a toll, because the more you agree with someone else's idea, you kind of lose yourself in what you really want, and then you become unhappy. When you become unhappy, because you're not even speaking who you are, and
so that was
important.
Yeah.
Pardon?
You're speaking from your experience.
Yeah, of course, that's me.
Yeah.
I wasn't speaking my truth. I was always agreeing, and then as I agreed, I could feel myself depleting my happiness, my internal happiness thermometer, and then I became empty of my happiness, my joy. And I didn't have being unhappy didn't bring me my creativity that I love so much, my passion to do things, to be happy to do things. I mean, I do have a vast variety of my last relationship, it was depleted, where I didn't even want to entertain that joy inside of me, because I know that it would be criticized, or
you've come into this program with a certain amount of knowledge already, right? I see your certificates on the wall.
Yes.
Can you talk to your educational background?
I have a master's in metaphysics. Again, a wedding officiant. So I do know about being centered and chakras, energy. But again, being in a relationship, even though I have an education and I do help others, being in a relationship, and when your world, or my world, was falling apart, it's like really living the physical. You are reminded you're living in this physical world with the norm of your heart you're going to get hurt. You're going to feel all the emotions. I'm going to do the emotional ride, and even at that point, I put everything on hold. My profession, my everything was on hold, because my world was falling apart. And I knew that as it was falling apart, that I was going to be the one to actually pick up the pieces and put it back together so differently. And I know that your program, when it came up, was the program for me to take.
Yeah.
To,
What specifically drew you to me? What made you feel that I was the one having all this knowledge already?
it's about ancestors and DNA, or
Yeah.
and your love language, but more so about speaking to your family and getting to know the love patterns, the love, how, what it is, because it's so important to find out really, and your story. You've lived with your story for so long that you create that story. And when you do create a story, you believe it. But then when you knock down a few walls and you really find out the truth, that story doesn't even stand up. And that's where, exactly, that's where magic happens.
So
And
that's
then,
where the magic happened for you, right?
yes, that's where the magic happened, where I even questioned you. It's like, what just happened? What just happened? And it was just a trauma that, or my story, or I healed something. And explaining how something heals is beyond, it's mystical, it's magical. You cannot explain, you know, how to heal to an individual. You just, sure, you could hear, oh, you need to heal this, or you need to do this, and you do need to do that. But knowing, feeling the emotional charge no longer connected to the story, because you've realized that that story doesn't even stand up, is a totally different game changer to how you view everything else and how you view yourself.
Yeah.
And how you view your mother or your whoever you've talked to find out what was. And the relationship between my mother and I now have blossomed into something, because I do see her side of it and I've never seen it.
Yeah.
I was blinded by my story that I've created, that really, again, so when the healing happened, that emotional charge was no longer being triggered, activated.
Yeah.
I'm no longer empty. I'm full of love, and I talk, you know, speak with my mother, I speak with my sisters. There's still some mending to do on some level on one of my sisters, but that's okay. It'll come.
Beautiful.
But
You did some beautiful work in the second lesson. That was really beautiful. And
yes,
besides that, clearly that's your favorite week, right?
that was my favorite week, because that's when everything changed.
Yeah.
Basically my old book pattern was destroyed, burnt, and sent to the universe. I got my new book and my new future, so, and my new beginnings, so
Yeah.
for a lot of things.
Beautiful. And was there any other part in the program that you liked more than other parts, or?
Oh, I do enjoy the love letter to myself.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, that I am committed to doing on a yearly basis on my birthday, mm-hmm. so that it does remind me of all the goodness that, and being grateful, and all the changes towards myself, and really voicing it towards me. I mean, if I can write a love letter to anyone.
Uh-oh.
Hold on. Sorry.
It's okay.
Are you okay? You're back. So again, like, this is a good timing, right? We both know what that means. So where was I going with this?
Yeah, your favorite was the love letter. Mm-hmm.
Yes, sorry, yes. So having the love letter, like I said, if I could write a love letter to someone, I could definitely write a love letter to myself, because it starts with me.
Yeah.
And so, and that's where I truly enjoyed that part as well in the program.
So can you describe just, you know, where you are now in comparison to where you were when you started? Like, how has your world changed in 10 words or less? And so tell me how you feel now.
Oh, well, I just feel pumped. I feel secure. I feel that the integrity within me is beyond. I also know that I'm not going to settle for less. And I will honor myself moving forward, and I will not ignore any flags whatsoever. I will trust me,
Yeah.
because I got me and I never gave up on me. So, and that's where I stand.
Yeah, that's beautiful. And so I know we talked about this already because this is what we've been talking about. So have you met somebody?
Yes.
And how's that
It's
going?
just the beginning. It's a beginning, part of my new book, right?
Yeah.
I have, and I am really confident in a lot of things. A business sense, working towards, I'm going to say my PhD, because now I have to move forward. And I'm moving to, I mean, I have my own place, which is great. Independence. Also, business sense is clear. Everything's clear, but also the personal side of things as well, where I know that I can implement both, like the business, the love, the care in both, in the business world and in the personal world, where it's like I move forward and enjoy life, what life is meant to be. Enjoy.
Yeah. Yeah. And so on a scale of 1 to 10, oh, there you go again.
Sorry about that. Hang on.
That's okay.
Like I said, it's looking at the time and I'm like, okay, yes,
Yeah.
I understand.
That's okay.
Yeah.
So on a scale of 1 to 10, how happy were you in your life when you started, and how happy are you now?
10 being really good.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. When I first started the program, I would say I was a 0, 1. I don't know about 1. I would say 0. Now it's like I'm a 9, 10. There's always room for improvement, and there's always room for joy and happiness. So I'm gonna go with that, because I mean, there's other, but overall, I would say I'm a 9.5.